Hello everyone, this is Sibish from Physics with No Big Words. Yesterday we learned about vectors and today we will learn about something that is keeping all of physics together, and that is the basic factor of physics, right? So today we will talk about force. Anything you see, to keep it like simply, to explain it simply, anything you see happening, like anything that has effect is done by force. Okay, you hear a sound, that's force. You get hurt, that's force. Your shirt stretches, the stretching is done by force. You break a bone, that's force. You fix a bone, that's force. So everything you see that has effect, like every effect that you see in world is one way or the other the effect of force, one way or the other the result of a force. Okay, but we cannot define like it is every effect in this world is because of force. We cannot define force like that. So how will we define force? Is we'll look at in like a more inclusive way, and then we'll say if moving body is stopped or a stopping body is moved, then that's force. Okay, so force is a external agent or a pull or push factor, because you can only push and pull to give force. You know what force is like. You intuitively understand what force is like. Force is a push and pull, and then we'll define it like that stops a moving object or moves a stopping object. Get it? So this object, okay, this is initially at rest, like this is initially a stopping object, but if I do this becomes a moving object. But how does it become a moving object? Because I'm putting some force to it, and if I pull it towards me, then again it's coming from stopping to rest. Or let's suppose this is moving object, and then I stop it with this push. Okay, and force can only be push or pull, but you should not have the misconception that only we can push or pull, or only some object or a body can push or pull, right? So force can be applied from anywhere. Force can be like magic. Force can be non-contact. So this is contact force, right? I push, I pull, but force can also be non-contact, and there are many types of force. There are lots and lots of types of force. There is like the contact force that we are talking about, this push and pull. This force is the basic force, right? We all know that. And there is also electrostatic force, which is like electric force between electricity, or like the force that generates electricity. So that's electrostatic force. And then there is nuclear force, the force that creates bomb. There's also that kind of force. And then there are force like chemical force, the force between chemical elements, that's chemical force. There is force of gravity, like the gravity pulling you down, because that's also an effect, right? With what we discussed earlier, that's also an effect. So there is a gravitational force as well. So there are many types of force. Okay, we tell that physics is all about motion, right? Physics is about moving body and studying of moving object, or studying the real world. But how do we study real world? As by forces, because without forces, I don't think anything in this world exists. So that's pretty deep, that we'll cover up later in this series. But without forces, nothing will exist. And like we discussed earlier of vectors, force is a vector as well. So force needs to be given a context, right? Force is like measured in newtons. If you guys don't know that, force is measured in newtons, and then with newtons, with how many newtons, you must also describe where is the force being applied. Okay, so is it being applied front ways, is it being applied back ways, is it being applied sideways or left side, or anywhere? Like you could also define force being applied at certain direction. So we'll cover that later in the series when maths come in. And don't worry, I will explain the math to you from the basics. So that's it for force, guys, and we will meet again with some fun physics video.